If you're struggling to let go of a toxic relationship, it might be because you're experiencing the IKEA effect. For me, it was a combination of the IKEA effect and the fallacy of change. So let's unpack both. So the IKEA effect is a cognitive bias, and the basic premise is that we tend to overvalue the things that we put a lot of effort into creating. When you buy furniture from IKEA, you have to build it. You're investing your time and energy into creating this piece of furniture. So even though the financial value is minimal, you perceive it to be more valuable because you've invested time into building it. So in terms of our relationships, if we have invested time and money and energy into building them, we tend to value the relationship even more, even though it doesn't actually bring value to our life. I had a really hard time letting go of my marriage because of this cognitive bias. We were 7 years, a business, a child, deep. Letting go was difficult because of the perceived value from the IKEA effect. So add on to that the layer of the fallacy of change. The fallacy of change is a cognitive distortion where somebody claims, I will be happy when you change. So I always felt like my ex was trying to change me. He truly believed that he would be happy if I just changed. The way I express my love, my habits, my interests. If I just changed everything and accommodated his needs, wants, and interests, then he would be happy. And it was my unwillingness to change that led to all of our conflict. Because if I loved him, I would change, right? So the biggest flaw with this logic is that happiness resides outside of the self. When you spend your time trying to get somebody to change, both parties end up feeling frustrated or resentful. One person is pushing for change and the other person is resisting change. I came into this relationship knowing that happiness comes from within and that it's unhealthy to ask your partner to change. You have to either accept them or reject them. So while I didn't allow my happiness to rest in him changing his abusive ways, meaning I was able to still find happiness within myself despite the unhappiness in the relationship, I ended up perpetuating the cycle by waiting for him to change. I thought if I could just hold out until he realizes that he needs to change, even though I didn't nag him to change, I didn't push him to change, I just set boundaries around what I would and would not do, then all of the energy, all of the investment, all of the time that I put into this relationship would be worth it. So in other words, I was setting myself up to experience the IKEA effect. And I think a big part of this ties into the belief that we're fed that good relationships are hard work. But we never actually spend time thinking about what that means. I unpack this in detail in my series on limiting beliefs. But I think we really need to deconstruct what that means in this context in our relationships. Because the hard work is actually doing reflection work. What is this person bringing up for me? What do I need to heal? Because our relationships are mirrors. That is the hard work. The hard work of relationships is not tolerating abusive behavior until they change. Let me know what you think.